has a lot of strength, the young freshman, and she gets the nod in the circle for South Florida. Here we go, second game of the day, and the first offering to Talon Edwards is outside for ball one. You had mentioned Edwards' production to this point of the season. She has been phenomenal for Kenny Gajewski. Was a freshman All-American a season ago, according to D1 softball. She's had some big games already this year. Had a 3-for-4 day against UCLA, hit a double and a home run. Hit the opening RBI single to take the lead on Washington this afternoon. Former number 3 prospect in her class. And she'll work ahead here 3-0. Pumped in for a strike, 3-1. 9-2 start for Oklahoma State this season. Already some big wins under the belt. Run-ruled UCLA. Only 2 losses to SEC teams. This one is powered deep to right, but a leaping catch by Lauren Beavis in right field.
Yeah, that's actually Alana Rivera. Something that Coach Erickson loves to do is when he places that lineup, he will do a DP switch with one of the players in the defense. And what a switch it is. Alana coming up with that snag. Constellazio out there is going to trace that ball back. This is a hard hit ball, but that is no problem for Alana Constellazio out there in right field.
Nod for Constellazio. And it's Claire Tim. Now, obviously, this is the biggest start of Julia Apostolakos' early career. She faces Claire Tim, the sophomore. Another big swinger for Oklahoma State. Tim coming in already 2 home runs this year, has knocked in 6. Another 2-0 start in this at-bat for Julia Apostolakos. Tim shoves one to second, and that's brought in by Wilkes. We're bringing Carly Godwin 2 up, 2 down for the freshman.
Yeah, something that she does really, really impressively, especially as a freshman, is those are some power hitting right or lefties from that side, and she's going to work that curveball into their hands. That's a pitch that if you're not careful can either A, hit the batter, or B, not break and stay over the heart of the plate. But she throws very fearlessly and will work that pitch deep into the counts and deep into batter swings.
We say hello to Claire Tim. Bouncing ball to second. Wilkes to tribal piece. Will retire the side. How about the freshman? A 1-2-3 inning against this booming Oklahoma State order. Middle of 1. Bulls to the plate when we come back.
Expecting to see a lot of freshmen, some transfers, and some young lower classmen looking to move up and fill vacuums.
So Olivia Elliott, the UCF transfer, will lead off. And it is Aycock in the circle for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, we saw Lexi Foyle throw the complete game earlier against the Huskies, probably anticipating a different arm to enter the circle today, and we do. We say hi to Kira Aycock, the right-hand pitcher who has just been a phenomenal addition to this Cowgirls roster.
As Aycock sends it 1-1. Big 12 all-freshman team selection a season ago. 2.51 ERA, faces the Tampa native, Olivia Elliott. Spent a year at UCF, then transferred back home. Was a top 10 pitcher in her class, Aycock was. As Elliott takes here 2-2. Pitched 2 innings yesterday against Stetson, and it was pretty rough for Kyra Aycock. 2 innings, 8 hits allowed, 6 runs, 4 of them earned. Struck out 3, though, did not walk anybody.
Yeah, she's somebody that Coach Gajewski says can be up and down. She's definitely the number 2 behind Kilfoyle, has spent a year as a freshman learning underneath Kilfoyle and Maxwell in particular, not really getting her opportunities as much as maybe she'd hope, but he says she's a firm thrower that when she throws an off-speed well can be difficult to hit.
Up the third base line, 5-3 on the out, Edwards to Godwin. And there's one out in the inning.
Yeah, if you were watching that Stetson game last night, pretty electric. 6-2 start for Stetson going into about the third or the fourth inning. And then Oklahoma State, behind the back of about 5 long balls, would go on to win 11-6 over at Stetson.
And that's just kind of the nature of this team, this program to some extent, is they've had some phenomenal pitchers in recent years. We know that. But that's one thing Oklahoma State always seems to have is that power in the bats. It's been part of their identity.
Yeah, I think with the loss of Naomi last year, who was a big power hitting for them, they've now filled it, especially with Megan Bloodworth coming over from Alabama. But now we see Edwards and Tim sitting at the top of the lineup and really powering this team ahead with their offensive prowess.
Cowgirls have been a consistent face in the Women's College World Series under Kenny Gajewski. In 7 years as head coach, he has led them to 4 trips to the Women's College World Series. Garcia Soto puts down a bunt. No shot. Into the perfect spot, and Kathy Garcia Soto's aboard.
And this is everything for Kathy Garcia Soto. We've actually already seen this today, a sac bunt, a bump for single that allows her to reach, and she's going to turn to her dugout and hype them up. She knows how big it is, especially against these ranked teams. Every single hit matters, every single moment matters, and she does not waste a single one.
Kenny Gajewski is making some kind of point to Todrick Davis, our home plate umpire. Jose Travis is at first, Cameron Ellison's at third. And here is Marissa Trivalpiece. All-conference selection a year ago. And the first pitch hit her. That one looked like it hurt. She'll have a hit by pitch.
Yeah, Trivalpiece, a power lefty. She does love to be up on the line to the plate. Take a look at this pitch as it comes in. She's going to start her swing, and in doing so, is going to expose the inside of her back elbow. Usually, left-handers in particular will wear that Evo on the front elbow, but as Trivalpiece starts to open up for her swing, is instead going to expose that not-so-funny bone. I imagine she's feeling a little bit of static all up and down that arm, and probably will for a little while to come.
It doesn't even feel good when you hit it on the counter. I can't imagine a pitch at over 60 miles an hour coming right on it. And she'll stay in for South Florida. I think one that's just, maybe leave a bit of a bruise. Well, this is a good start for USF. You blink and all of a sudden the Bulls have 2 on with 1 out. And it brings in Alex Wilkes.
This is something that USF obviously is well known for. You talk about it, Coach Erickson's motto per se is get them on, get them over, get them in. And as painful as a way to get on that is, a hit by pitch is just that. It's a free bag, and it's a way to advance your team forward.
As Aycock sends in his strike. Alex Wilkes, her sister also on the team. Jocelyn Wilkes, a sophomore. This is the younger sister of. And she's had a pretty good start to her young career at USF. Aycock's 1-1 pitch. As that's teed off foul. Alex Wilkes was able to get her first career hit against the Gators in a pinch hit spot. Since then, this is her 3rd career start tonight. And when she started, she's been electric at the plate. 3 of 6 when she's been in the starting lineup. Goes opposite way here into right. Garcia Soto tags, but will hold it second. And there's 2 away. But even on that play, Georgina, you could feel how hard she hit the ball.
Yeah, I think she's a freshman that the world is her oyster. She's got nowhere to go but up, especially we've already seen her blossom, perhaps even with the confidence of playing behind her older sister. Take a look at this contact. This is really solid. This is a good pitch from Aycock. It's dying off of the plate, and Wilkes is going to do a great job of getting her barrel just underneath it, but in doing so will line out directly to Tim in right field.
Lauren Peavis had a hit with an RBI in the opener, was a single off the bench. This is her first start of the season, just her 3rd career nod in the starting lineup. And Beavis takes ball 1.
Yeah.
South Florida in the inning, a bunt single and a hit by pitch, trying to take advantage with 2 outs.
Yeah, and I think Beavis is one that has earned this start because she has come in these pinch roll positions and been pretty successful. In her 2 at-bats, has gotten a hit in 1 of them. She's somebody that really likes to throw the barrel well from the left side, and especially Aycock, knowing that she's struggling to come into those lefties, has already hit Marissa Tribalpiece. If I'm Beavis, I'm sitting on something that I can see along the white of the plate on the outer half.
And chases the 2-1, will level it. Bulls trying to bounce back after a 2-1 loss to Washington in the first of 2. Here's the 2-2. And Beavis chases it for strike 3. Aycock's got her first K, and South Florida strands 2. Regina Cork, I'm Ryan Urquhart. Happy to join us on a Thursday night here in Tampa. Long first pitch she sees from the freshman is fouled off. And the transfer out of Liberty has been a great addition. Had a 3-run home run against Stetson the other night. She's had an extra base hit now in 4 of her last 5 games entering the day. She was a big pickup out of the transfer portal. You may know her also as Caroline Hudson from Liberty. She was recently married to Matthew. Line drive into left, and that's past Snyder and all the way to the wall. Wong will go into second, standing up. It's her 4th double of the season.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Snyder, not seeing how quickly this ball is falling, Wong gets on top of this, is going to put a lot of topspin on this line drive. Snyder thinking that she can get underneath it, unfortunately does not, comes up with the diving miss, and that will allow the single to be extended into a double.
First pitch, pops it up for Alex Wilkes, and the second baseman squeezes it. So a good bounce back for Apostolakos. But now she's got to face Rosie Davis. Davis, another freshman who has been a breakout star, and Ken Erickson wants a word here. So after she induces the pop-up, wants a word with his young freshman. Is this more strategy or is this more settle?
It will most likely be a settle situation. I think in a moment like this, when the ball is hit hard, it feels like the speed and the pace of the game has picked up. It's something that young freshmen will often get caught in this cycle of, as the game speeds up, they think that they have to speed up to catch up to it, essentially. And instead, in this moment, I'm sure Coach Erickson is just going out, reminding this young player that the game is at her pace. She gets to decide how quickly things move, and she cannot step on that mound and throw confidently if she feels rushed.
Cowgirls looking for their first run of the day, trying to take advantage on a leadoff double. And Tennessee native fouls off the first pitch. Through her first 9 games of the season, this young freshman has hit .444, had 5 multi-hit games and 4 extra base hits. Was an all-state honoree in high school. And Apostolakos misses downstairs on her. To mention for Rosie Davis as well, earlier today, against Washington performed well. Had one of the home runs, was the 3rd of her young career in 10 starts. Apostolakos spins a 2-1. This is clocked to center field. Elliott back to the track. It's out of her glove. Wong has the wave at third. She will come in to score. And Oklahoma State takes the lead in Tampa.
And it's the freshman that's going to show up and produce this ball, a rise ball that's just working up through the zone. Davis is going to get just underneath of it with a lot of power. And I think with that, Elliott trying to run back and get a glove on it at full tilt, it's just going to come out of her glove, not able to secure it entirely, and will be a stand-up double.
The 6th extra base hit in 11 games for Rosie Davis. And it brings in a run. That's the 9th RBI of her young year. Brings in Hayden Sokolowski. First pitch to her is a strike from Apostolakos. And the sophomore takes upstairs. Was mostly a pinch runner last year, appeared in 36 games. And this year he's taken on a bit of a larger role. This is only her second start, though. Her other start was against UC Riverside. Did get an RBI in that one. Went 2 for 3. Has not had a hit since. This is just her 12th career at bat. And she'll take the 2-1 on a deep drive into left field, and it's past Snyder. Oklahoma State extends its lead with their third double of the inning.
And this is an Oklahoma team that just feels hot. Watching the Washington game earlier, they jumped out ahead, are so aggressive, even on pitches outside of the zone. This pitch from Apostolakos is deep inside on the hands of Sokolowski, and she's going to do a phenomenal job of opening up her body, opening up her barrel, and is going to put this in a position that Snyder can just not quite get to.
And here is the Alabama transfer, Megan Bloodworth. Oklahoma State 3 doubles in this inning. They've taken a 2-0 lead. Garcia Soto goes the routine way to tribal piece, and there's 2 away. So it's a quick trip for the former Crimson Tider. Here's Jillian Poulard. Jillian Poulard, 2-time All-Southland Conference selection at McNeese. Also had a home run against Stetson the other night. You can say that about a lot of Cowgirls, as Georgina mentioned, the comeback effort. Only played in 9 games last year before stepping away from the team, but had a huge impact at McNeese. In 2022, finished with the 7th most RBIs in program history, had a 21 reached base streak. That was the 9th longest ever at McNeese. A lot of talent for Jillian Poulard. Poulard sends one skyward into right. Consolazio circles around to it. She's got it.
In the first inning, knowing that Aycock is not at her sharpest, she's missing a couple pitches either over the heart of the plate or well and truly off, hitting batters. I think they'll need to be aggressive early.
Dania Brooks, a long bouncer back up the middle, but not in time. And they get her at first.
Yeah, and that'll be Megan Bloodworth coming across the middle. This bouncer over the head of Aycock easily could go up the middle. She's actually one that Kenny Gajewski spoke to about earlier with us this week. He said she actually started at second base for the fall, and then further into the season, he realized that he wanted her to be the quarterback of his infield, moved her over, and said that he felt a sense of calmness with her in that position.
First pitch to Humplick sends it deep to center field, and a leaping catch by Poulard. Boy, that was one off the bat that looked bound for beyond the wall. But Poulard gets on her horse.
Yeah, we saw a picture of the moon tonight. A little worried that Humplick was going to put another crater in it with this ball, but not quite enough. This is a deep, deep ballpark, around 230 dead center out by that pitcher's eye, and Poulard doing a phenomenal job of not only tracking back, but then making the leaping catch and securing the ball.
Again, this is a 230 ballpark in center. You have a lot of ballparks around the country that's a home run for Emma Humplick. And you give credit to Poulard going back there. That's not an easy catch for the center fielder. As Consolazio shortens up.
I think that's a play that, as Humplick, you're walking up the line, you just got to tip your cap. That's a phenomenal play by Poulard. If that goes past her, that's a single, double potential territory, puts USF in the threat of scoring a run. Consolazio
takes ball 1. This is A rare start for Consolazio in her career. Has been getting more and more playing time as she's gone along in the program, now in her redshirt junior year. Third start in 4 appearances, but her first at-bat is a line out to third. Bulls go out quietly in the second, down 1-2-3. We'll see you in the third. They were really getting a hold of it.
He's a guy that when we spoke to him, I think when you watch him play, you see this really intense guy. You see him always really passionate about the game. But something that he does is he loves to encourage his batters. It's something that he's working on. He likes to try and encapsulate this calmness. He said that's a big thing for him as a part of the coaching staff, is making sure that his players feel supported, they feel calm, and they feel that they can perform at their best with him at the helm.
8th season as the Cowgirls head man. Talon Edwards already 0 for 1 today on a fly out to right. It was a good first inning for Apostolakos, then that second inning onslaught comes, now second time through the order. Edwards on a 9-game reached base streak coming in. Speaking of 3 doubles, she had 3 of them against UC Riverside. That tied the school record for single-game doubles. Only the 4th Cowgirl to ever do it, first since 2007. And Edwards sends one skyward to right and into the Tampa Knights. Talon Edwards with a solo shot, and Oklahoma State has a 3-run lead.
And Talon did such a good job. Her first at bat laces a line drive to right field side, is not going to take a doubt on this one. Another pitch inside to her, this curveball, and look at that swing. She's going to put the lift into it, and it's going to carry well and truly over those high 190 fences out in right field. Consolazio unable to make a play over the fence, and that will be her 4th home run of the season.
Also her 12th RBI, most of anybody in the order. And it brings in Claire Tim. Oklahoma State, of course, has been a regular face in the World Series. They're England forward again this year. Won a Big 12 title a couple of seasons ago under Kenny Gajewski. This is a program that has been climbing and climbing. If they're going to win a national championship this year, what has to go right for Oklahoma State?
I think Oklahoma State really has to lock in a secondary set of pitchers behind the arm of Lexi Kilfoyle. We've seen Kilfoyle obviously success at Alabama. She's somebody who has a lot of Women's College World Series under her belt, but with the loss of Kelly Maxwell to Oklahoma, that is a big question mark for who is going to be the 1-2 punch for the Cowgirls. We've seen Kira Aycock. We've obviously now seen Ivy Rosenberry, who has come out for this bullpen. I think behind the strength of these bats, you're going to have a strong 1 and 2 pitching staff. It can't just be one arm carrying you all the way into the Women's College World Series.
I mean, that's what we've seen more and more over the years. I mean, go back 2 decades. I mean, it was you got an ace and you take it all the way there, right? It's not the case anymore. You just can't do that. You have to have at least 2.
Yeah, I think the development of technology, of scouting, of the way that this game has just evolved, from the way that hitters have changed, from the way that pitching has changed, it no longer can be the Monica Abbotts of Tennessee. It cannot be the Jenny Finches of Arizona. You can have one strong arm and you can use them very effectively, but they have to be backed by something else. Otherwise, someone can just prepare for one pitcher and one pitcher alone, and you have the technology now to really simulate what they're like. And so the ability to provide diversity through the bullpen is paramount for any team looking to carry through into the Women's College World Series.
So Claire Tim walks here, and you can point to examples like Odyssey Alexander with James Madison a couple of years ago. You remember her and the run that they had to the Women's College World Series, but that has become the outlier. That is not a commonality anymore as Carly Godwin steps out. Oklahoma State in this inning already a solo shot and another power stroke to left center. It is gone. The second long ball of the inning. Oklahoma State pouring it on.
And it was Godwin who actually had the long ball against Florida earlier this week that made the difference for that ranked win. And then here she comes again, puts this ball into the deepest part of this field. Look out, our camera crew out there in center field hitting the scaffolding with the power of this barrel. Another rise ball that just doesn't get out of the zone, and instead Godwin is going to put absolutely everything into that and hit that metal scaffolding out in deep, deep center field.
Watch out, Julio Martinez, our center field camera operator.
No fear in
Didn't
that
even
man.
budge.
Didn't
Not
even
an ounce
flinch.
of fear in that man's eyes. Here's Caroline Wong. She takes a strike.
A phenomenal effort by Olivia Elliott in center field. Looking at that replay, she is inches away from robbing that home run.
Nice job, Julio. Gives the thumbs up. He's all right out there. That's the second time in a couple of weeks our poor camera ops out there. A couple of weeks ago against Florida, Skylar Wallace hit the one in left field.
Starting to think we need to buy some protective gear.
I was going to say, get him a couple Evo shields out there.
Why not? I would actually love to see our camera people in full catcher's uniforms. I think that's the only way to keep them safe.
I think they might push back on that with some of the Florida heat. That's in for a strike on Wong. We'll take a poll after the game.
Yeah, I guess Punxsutawney Phil did say that spring's coming soon. So we'll get them some lightweight gear.
That's a good Groundhog Day reference.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a huge Punxsutawney Phil fan myself.
Say it 3 times fast. You will. That's outside for ball 2. And this has been about as good a start as you can have for Oklahoma State after a 1-2-3 inning. 3 doubles in the second, 2 homers in the third. And still nobody out in this inning. This 2-2 is blasted deep into right field, and a nice catch by Alana Consolazio.
And take a look again at this ball. This is a phenomenal, well-hit ball deep into right field. Is tailing away into the foul territory. Consolazio coming up with that catch. Look at that mid-air leap, getting that air for the catch. Consolazio, an incredible read, an incredible jump, and robbing what could have been extra base hit down into the deep part of this field in right field.
There's an Alana moment for the right fielder, and it brings in Wark. Kayla Wark popped up to second on her last trip. .333 hitter this year. She's got 3 extra base hits. Oklahoma State will, of course, be venturing into a very loaded Big 12 this year. You have Oklahoma, Texas. You have some new additions, UCF, Houston coming into the league, BYU. 0-2. And Wark chops this out to second. Long throw for Wilkes, but she's got it. There's 2 away. When you look at the Big 12 picture, obviously we know Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
What else stands out to you?
I think it's difficult. I think, again, it's going to be Oklahoma. It's going to be Oklahoma State. They just really, they have created such a strong hierarchy of those teams in that conference. It's really difficult to compete with a team that has that level of experience, not only with their players, but with Women's College World Series knowledge. That's something that Coach Gajewski speaks so much about, is you have to have the softball IQ of being in those moments. You can only step up to the moment to the level of your preparation.
Kenny Gajewski said that his team, he feels like they've got a lot of potential this year. It's a tough schedule this week, but wanted to see how they react to it. This finds the zone on 2-0. Because, you know, when you think about it, they had a game impromptu with Florida on Monday. Because of all the rainouts, they scheduled one with Tim Walton's crew. Those two, of course, have a long history together. He was formerly on Tim Walton's staff. They go back to Oklahoma and all of that, but a lot of different looks across this week, and that experience out of conference is huge for a team like Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and Coach Gajewski said he always just loves to welcome good competition. He's somebody that is not going to shy away from it. I think it was about a 27-hour turnaround from the cancellation of those games in Clearwater to Oklahoma State stepping foot in Gainesville.
Flare shot into right. Consolazio, no magic this time, just out of her glove.
Yeah, of course, we can't ignore Texas in that conference as well, another huge competitor.
And Mike White's team, of course, will be back competitive as ever. But you think about how much the landscape's going to shift with, remember that the Pac-12 is also sending some teams to the Big 12 with conference realignment. Utah's going to be coming into this league, Arizona State. All very solid programs. And yeah, you're losing Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC, which that's a whole separate conversation. But the Big 12, you say there's going to be a bit of a power vacuum with Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State you kind of feel is the natural team to fill it, but you also have to remember that you have some really strong Pac-12 teams also coming into that league. Here's the payoff. And we'll come back for part two. Rosie Davis had a ribby double in her last trip. The first to drive in a run for the Cowgirls, looking for win number 10. They can get the dub over USF tonight. And Davis takes ball 4, so Apostolakos issues a 2-out walk. And Sokolowski, who also hit an RBI double in the second, will come up.
Yeah, I think Apostolakos is someone that when she's on, she is very effective because she mixes that off speed successfully. She throws it off of her other pitches. Here, I think she's just losing it a little bit early. She's flipping that changeup slightly high, and it's not falling through the zone the way that she needs to. So these Oklahoma State batters are just sitting one speed.
Ken Erickson, his 27th season. Him and Coach Gajewski have known each other for a long time. 1-0 pitch. Sokolowski. Sends that out of the park. Bulls just need now to get out of this inning. It has been nightmarish in this third frame for South Florida. 2 home runs, a solo shot, and a 2-run bomb from Godwin. And strike 2 there. Throw down to first is not in time. South Florida is arguing that Tribal Piece tagged her when she stepped off the bag for a moment. They're going to uphold the call, though. Jose Travis says she's still snugly safe at first.
Yeah, and in a game like that, you can't blame Tribal Piece for trying to snag outs when she gets them. She's going to argue that Davis, on her way up to the bag, is going to step off of it. She's going to fake that throw, hoping to get Davis.
It won't matter. They strike out Sokolowski anyway. So Apostolakos has her first K, but it is a booming third for Oklahoma State. First, it was Talon Edwards with a solo bomb. And you look back the last couple of days, they faced some adversity here and there, but this long ball for them and the extra base hits have been the difference. Going back to Monday night, they played Florida. Everybody kind of got that treat, an impromptu game, less than 30 hours. It was turned around. It's a big credit to Coach Gajewski, Tim Walton, the whole crew up there for, on such short notice, being able to put together that caliber of a softball game. Here's the 1-0.
Well, I think Coach Gajewski absolutely wants to come off of that Clearwater tournament. That's one that's highly touted all year round. Their only 2 losses for the Cowgirls have come at that tournament against ranked LSU, ranked UGA. Those balls were flying out in Clearwater. That's something that Coach Kenny probably definitely wanted to come back with the cancellation games and get another good ranked win under their belt, which they did on the 3-run bomb by Godwin.
This is a Missouri transfer. She's a native of Columbia. Last year, started 34 games for the Tigers, 228 average, 2 homers, 19 ribbies. You might remember she had a game-tying extra inning home run against Arkansas. And decided to come to the Sunshine State, play for Ken Erickson. And now facing 2-2. 5 runs, not insurmountable, but the Bulls need some offense. And Snyder bounces it foul. This is part of a stretch of 27 home games for Ken Erickson's crew. The Bulls will not hit the road until March 11th at FGCU. That's after the start of conference play. So they will play at home up until a 3-game series with Charlotte. That number was actually changed too because of some changes in cancellations. They added a game with Villanova. But safe to say South Florida is going to be pretty comfy in this ballpark. It will be a little more road heavy at the back end of the season, but South Florida, a lot of chance to have that advantage tilted in their favor in this part of the schedule. Here's the 2-2. That wanders just outside, counts full.
Yeah, and that's something that Coach Gajewski said. Every time that he comes to USF, he knows that USF plays well at home. It's something that they take pride in. They like hosting these tournaments. They like bringing big teams in.
And Maddie Snyder walks on the Mizzou transfers the board, turns it over with nobody out.
And that will bring up the top of the lineup in Olivia Elliott.
Olivia Elliott's been pretty good with her stick to this point in the season. The UCF transfer has come in and been able to hit pretty well for South Florida. Only USF Bull with a triple, has had 3 RBI, does not have a hit tonight. It was a slow start for her at times. First game was a 2-hit effort, had 2 ribbies. But has come up in some important spots against Michigan, had an RBI. Here's the 0-1. It was one of South Florida's biggest wins to this point over the Wolverines. Also had a hit against Boston College. The 1-1 is on a line into right field, but easily playable for Tim, and there's one away.
Yeah, and I think Kira Aycock is really just coming into her stride. She's somebody that Coach Gajewski said that Coach Carrie Eberly, who has now been added to this staff, has been working closely with. She's someone that she just wants her to smooth out, and especially Kyra's, definitely they say her best stuff is still to come. She's somebody that Carrie believes in and has a lot of faith in, and that has allowed her to blossom a lot with this pitching staff.
Here's Kathy Garcia Soto. Had a hit in the game earlier today against Washington, also had a single in this game. Back-to-back games of this doubleheader with a hit for the Bulls sophomore, reigning AAC co-defensive player of the year. So second time through the order, what does South Florida need to do adjustment-wise to start getting this offense moving?
I think they need to capitalize on the pitches that Aycock is throwing through the zone. She's somebody that has a really heavy ball. We've already seen it from Elliott, where it looks like the ball is hitting her barrel really strongly and then just dying. It's almost like you're swinging and hitting a bowling ball. She's somebody that has really heavy topspin, and so you're not going to be able to power through that ball really well. USF was successful against Washington because they were able to just put barrels on balls.
2-2. Bulls got a leadoff walk from the 9-hole. Elliott lined out to right field. Tribal piece is on deck, barring a double play here. That's ball 3. Tribal piece already reached on a hit by pitch. Bulls looking for some offense, down 5. Here's the payoff. Garcia Soto ropes one to short. They will throw to first, and it is a double play to retire the side. Megan
Pretty big super fan on a Thursday night.
Absolutely. We appreciate you if you're watching with us tonight. Megan Bloodworth, who just turned the double play, will lead off. And you had mentioned that she had shifted from second base to shortstop for Oklahoma State, looking for her first hit in this game. Played every day last year at third base. Coach Gajewski called her an elite defender. And Pastelakos ahead 0-2. That move to shortstop, they didn't make that till a week before the season. And that calm sensation he got, he said that's the first time since Naomi had left that he had felt that kind of feeling about his shortstop position. That's high praise for somebody who 8 days before the season was not in that position.
And that's a large testament to Bloodworth herself in that she is really willing to learn. She's willing to move around, be where she needs to be for her team. And obviously we've already seen the outcome of that, her making that phenomenal inning-ending double play.
And Bloodworth arcs one deep beyond the outfield. Waving for it, Kathy Garcia Soto secures the first out of the inning. Brings in Jillian Poulard. It's been a booming couple of innings for Oklahoma State. 2 runs off 3 doubles in the second, foot all synced up. And they said her stuff has been way better.
Yeah, it's something that sometimes it's something as small as a little mechanical change, especially for someone like Lexi Kopko, where she does come in these moments where it may be 1, 2, 3 batters that she's looking to face. She wants to make sure that she is giving her best performance for those couple of batters that may be in her arsenal. And it's something that if your timing is off, you don't have 10 pitches to try and find it. You've got to find it from pitch 1.
Ballard shows bunt for a moment there. Julia Apostolakos exits the game for now. 3 1/3, 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 2 walks and a K. Here's her numbers on this very young season. She's only pitched 2/3 of an inning. It has been mostly relief work through Lexi Kopko's career. Her career ERA sitting at 6 even, a 3-6 record over 45 appearances. 65 1/3 innings in her career, has walked 43, struck out 25. Opposing hitters over the years, 323 against her. It's also pinch ran a bit in her time at USF. As Poulard sends a 1-1 into foul ground on the run and can't bring it in. Snyder giving chase, goes into the fencing. And good to see her up and moving.
Yeah, that's difficult. That warning track territory, it's more of a rock kind of terrain, and so you're going to see Snyder tracking this ball down, knows that the fence is there, so when she's coming up diving, she's actually trying to work to keep her body away from the fence, not go straight into it. But as this lefty-lefty matchup goes forward, the ball is going to continue to tail away, especially when it's an outside pitch.
And Pollard strikes out. He'll throw down to first to complete the K. Lexi Kopko out of the bullpen picks up a strikeout.
And that's a testament to some of the work that Kopko has been doing behind the scenes, oftentimes in these big moments. As much as we talk about pinch hitters, talk about pinch pitching. This is a phenomenal pitch from Kopko. You're going to see her mix her curveball and her changeup predominantly, and that will allow her to get what is just the 2nd strikeout of the day and her 1st strikeout for her appearance.
Back to the top of the order that has been terrorizing South Florida to this point. Talon Edwards, a solo shot in the 3rd. Oklahoma State has had an extra base hit from 5 out of 9 hitters in this order. It has been an offensive onslaught for the Cowgirls. Top goes 2-0.
Yeah, I think this is a team that just loves to play. When you see them go up to bat, a lot of them are being early and aggressive in those early counts. Talon actually herself skipped her senior season of high school so that she could join the Cowgirls faster. She's someone who is very, very smart, is actually going into dentistry, and she just loves to play the game.
And the future dentist takes a strike, 3-1. Well, she has done it on both sides, athletics and academics. Bouncing ball out to second. 4-3 on the out will retire the side. So Lexi Kopko comes in relief, gets the final 2 outs and a strikeout. To her line, Oklahoma State still up 5. But if that's going to change, this program going into the future has all the tools to really stay elite, even if the dynamics kind of shift a little bit in the sport.
Yeah, and I think this is something that Coach Gajewski isn't scared of. We spoke about him earlier this weekend, and he said he loves that he's got a young staff, he loves learning about the game, and he acknowledges that the game continues to evolve. Obviously, the movement of conference teams is a huge part of that, the development of the game, and he's somebody that says if you're not learning, you are just stagnating.
It's a tribal piece hit by a pitch, as you saw back in the 1st. Bouncer back to the circle. Aycock's got it. And there's 1 down. It'll bring in Alex Wilkes. Oklahoma State currently sitting 7th or 8th, depending on which poll you look at. we asked him about this transition. Of course, they lost some big pieces from last year's team that went to the World Series. And the first thing he said to us, Georgina, he said, it's been scary. You know, he talked about that they had so much comfort for a while, and to that point you made, that this staff has grown along with the same way this team has had to grow. And he said he enjoyed every step of the process. He has a really strong freshman class that's shown on the field so far. A lot of young talent. As Wilkes stands in for ball one.
Yeah, we've already seen Godwin step up and hit that 3-run bomb that allows the victory over Florida. And then another freshman in Rosie Davis already with a double on the day. It's just some great experience for young players as they look to fill those power vacuums.
Wilkes turns on one foul. I think Rosie Davis even earlier today with a home run against Washington. Oklahoma State, you got to think with the win over Washington, they're going up in the polls.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And probably leap at least a few spots, if not more.
And not only was it just a victory, it was a resounding victory, 7-0 over the Huskies.
And chases this one low for strike three. It's the second strikeout for Aycock, and there's two down.
Yeah, I think Aycock struggled a little bit that first inning with the bunt single, still the only hit for the USF Bulls offense, and then the hit by pitch to Tribal piece. But since then has really locked in. She's somebody that Coach Carey said that she's a double-edged sword. She can be a little ineffective, but because she is so wildly ineffective, she gets hitters out that way.
Beavis on the first pitch, a roller to second. And we will see you in the fifth. Here, Georgina.
In the building herself.
In the building herself, Georgina Corrick. And you know, it's one of those things that the investment with women's sports has come and it's blossomed.
And it's growing exponentially. I think we're starting to see the return on investment, that big ROI that people love to throw around. You're starting to invest in women's sports and seeing it grow.
Golf's one is short. Kathy Garcia Soto snags it. She's got the first out of the inning.
Yeah, and it's something that I think it can't be overstated, the importance of young athletes having professionals that they can look up to. Actually, Carrie Eberly herself, the assistant coach for Oklahoma State this year, also an Athletes Unlimited athlete. Coach Gajewski said that something that's really important for him is his pitching staff gets to not only learn from Carrie, but they can look at her and be like, she is still working the same way that I choose to work every single day.
This misses outside to Carly Godwin. 2, 3, and 4 in this inning for Oklahoma State. Godwin, one of 2 homers in the third. What's been your favorite part of the Athletes Unlimited experience?
It sounds cheesy, but I think it's the people. I think it's you start to not only love the sport, but you start to love the sport with other people, and every single one of you is really passionate about it in a way that can feel silly to other people, but amongst your small group of each other, you get to be really passionate about something together and be a part of building something. Obviously, Washington in the building earlier had Victoria Hayward, had Sis Bates, had Courtney Gano, all Athletes Unlimited athletes as well. And it's a small community that can be really passionate about the sport together.
I think what's so unique, too, is it's not like any other professional league. You have such a unique scoring system. It's a lot more individualized to the athletes. If you grew up, a fan of Sis Bates or Amanda Lorenz or Georgina Corrick, right? You kind of get the opportunity to not just root for maybe a team that's competing, but for specific athletes. It allows more of a, personal connection that way.
Yeah, and it's a unique leaderboard system. It's a point collection system. It talks about the game in ways of what the actual quantifiables of the sport are. And we've seen across the board in the fall season, a lot of D1, D2, D3 programs have adopted the AU scoring system.
Payoff pitch is on a long bounce to second. And Wilkes turns it for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and talk about this entrance by Lexi Kopko. Obviously, Apostolakos starts the game, and there's been some really strong bats of OSU, but Lexi Kopko is mixing that off-speed really well through the zone, is going to get Godwin not only looking on the changeup in the 2-2 count, but then actually getting herself out in the full count on a ground ball over to Wilkes at second base.
Well, wanders high from Kopko. It's 1-0. Caroline Wong, 1 for 2 so far. Double and a run scored. And it's just a reflection, too, of, look at this sport, right? With the Women's College World Series TV numbers they've been doing, how big it's getting. I mean, you get to a point that even in Oklahoma City, it feels like every year that you need more and more space for everybody that wants to be a part of that experience.
I mean, how exciting, talking about them adding stands to that OKC stadium. Oklahoma, obviously building Love Field now, has completely sold out. I think some of the cheapest tickets are in the hundreds of dollars. That is showing that people are placing value in women's sports.
And even with Caitlin Clark recently, right, breaking the scoring record at Iowa, I mean, that was one of the biggest sporting events of the day.
Yeah, people, if you saw that game, a big talking point of ESPN was that people were lined up around the building trying to get in for the game because she could potentially break the record. That investment in women's sport is massive, and I think looking at this USF Stadium today, you're going to see a lot of young athletes, and it's really exciting to see that they can see that world and know that they can live it themselves because other athletes are opening the doors for them.
It's 2-2 here on Wong. Ken Erickson, longtime mentor in women's sports, 27 years as the head coach. Also spent a decade helming Team USA. 2-2. And Wong turns it foul off the handle. I'm sure you talk to plenty of young athletes. What's the most common piece of advice you give when they're trying to get to that professional level?
I think the best advice you can ever have is to continue having fun. I think especially young athletes place a high pressure on themselves to perform and compete. But truthfully, if you're not having fun, you're not going to enjoy coming out and putting in the hard work.
Lexi Kopko has been putting in the work. She's got 2 strikeouts. The throw from Humplick completes the K, and that'll send us top 10 teams in Tampa for this one. Oklahoma State and Washington met earlier today. It was a 7-0 win for the Cowgirls. Dania Brooks will lead off for USF. Bulls will send 6, 7, and 8 in this frame. Bottom of the order has not produced a hit yet. Bulls only 1 hit tonight. Dania Brooks rolls it to third. That's a good snag by Edwards. And the throw to Godwin's in time. Goes 5-3 on the out. There's 1 away for Emma Humplick.
And Edwards makes that ball look a lot easier than it was. This turf is very, very difficult, especially the terrain here. You're going to see it well-watered field, and that second bounce from Brooks is actually going to pick up a little bit of topspin, but Edwards, no stranger to that, is going to do a great job of snagging it for the first out.
First pitch to Humplick's a strike. One and one. And we talked about Oklahoma State going to the Big 12 this year. You think for South Florida, of course, down 5 now, but still plenty of softball in front of them before they head into conference play. Wichita State's the team to beat. 1-1. And that's pumped in for a strike. It's going to be pretty fun in the American this year. Much like the Big 12, you have some new additions that have kind of shifted the dynamic. You have Charlotte, North Texas coming in. FAU's been stellar as well. Here's the 1-2. And Humplick tags this to second. And this time it's 4-3 on the out. 2 up, 2 down for the Bulls. If USF is going to win a conference title, what needs to go right for them?
I think we have to see the offensive production that we've seen, especially in the earlier game against Washington, where they were just putting barrel on ball. I think the ability to hit a great pitcher like Malin says a lot for this team as they go deeper into the season. But especially you're going to see players like Consolazio that have a little bit more speed and will use the small ball. Then you'll see others such as Tribal Peace, Garcia Soto, very versatile hitter. You have to allow the players to live in their roles and be successful in them.
And that is sent in for a strike at 1-1. The good news for South Florida is all those teams we mentioned, Charlotte, FAU, North Texas, Wichita State, they're coming to this building. So South Florida will have that inherent advantage as Consolazio falls behind 2-1. Time is called. Kenny Gajewski has something he wants to argue.
I think they're going to be asking for the swing attempt. Appeared that they're going to get some clarification here.
Well, the umpires will meet. So they'll chat about it. Bulls Club helps power USF athletics by funding athletic scholarships for over 450 student athletes and raising money for athletic capital projects, facilities, and academic enhancements. Join the Bulls Club today by going to mybullsclub.com or calling 1-800-GO-BULLS for more information. Ken Erickson getting an next 8th. You got to think they're going up. Oklahoma and Texas 1-2. That's in the USA Today coaches poll. And Oklahoma State sitting at number 8. And Baylor also hanging around there. Got to give some love to Baylor as well. They've been good.
You might remember their upset of Oklahoma a couple years back, 2-1 on a walk-off home run by Baylor. Very exciting game for everybody in softball. An undefeated Oklahoma team during the year up until that point.
It kind of felt like someone dropped an anchor on the entire sport when that happened because, I mean, it says a lot about Oklahoma. They lose one game in a series they won on a walk-off home run, and it catches everybody's eye because, of course, Patty Gasso's team has just been that dominant.
And I mean, what a testament to Oklahoma as a team that everyone kind of remembers where you were when, when Oklahoma lost.
I know.
I remember I was on my couch.
Oh, yeah?
It's a good couch.
You say it like you don't have it anymore. Deep roller to short. This might be close. But Kathy Garcia's arm gets it there. And there's one away whose work is retired. Do you not have the couch anymore?
No, like I lost the couch in the move.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, what do you mean you lost the couch?
My roommate took the couch. It was her grandmother's couch, so we did have to pivot that couch.
I don't think she could really take it then. I think she more just
she just
kept her couch.
She kept what was hers.
Yeah. Kept her property.
But I had put good hours into that couch.
He developed a good bond with that couch. As Rosie Davis takes ball 1 here. Oklahoma State, we mentioned how frequently they've been in the World Series. I know it's early in the season. Who are some teams that maybe you didn't expect that might be World Series contenders this year?
I don't think it's so much that you didn't expect, but they are really jumping ahead of the crowd, and that would be the Georgia Bulldogs. I've been really impressed by their offense. I think that they've got definitely the power behind their bats to be very competitive. I think the bullpen might be a big question for the Bulldogs. That will be one. Mississippi State, honestly, making a phenomenal jump out of some of the lower rankings of the SEC, is now sitting in the top 22, I believe, a team that's just jumped ahead. But then Wichita State, one that beats Mississippi State earlier this weekend. And so, again, these teams just jumping around very early in the season. Hard to make choices, especially when you have to take into consideration the health of pitchers, the health of hitters. Those things are really big contenders as well.
That's a strike, and the count's full on Rosie Davis. There are 10 SEC teams, by the way, in the top 20 right now. So that would be 12 once you add Oklahoma and Texas. Payoff pitch is fouled off. Also for the top 5. I mean, it has been ludicrous. It's only going to get more so. I mean, there's a world where maybe it's not 15 teams from the SEC, but close to it. I mean, almost a quarter of the field may come from one conference.
Do you think that we're starting to see an SEC monopoly jump out ahead even in the sport of softball? Something that we've obviously known for a long time in football, but now extending into the sport.
As Rosie Davis will walk here on the payoff. I think the other thing you have to consider, too, is that everything's going to shift dynamically because the Pac-12 will not be participating in the same manner. So you kind of look to the Big Ten now in softball, and that dynamic is going to change because all of a sudden you're looking at that league. They've got UCLA, Oregon, and Washington, right? And how many teams are the Big Ten sending, and how do you consider that league in its depth?
Yeah, and then how do you consider the other conferences across the country? Are those conferences really only ever going to send one person, and for if you punch your ticket in the final, is that something that we're just going to see a massive monopoly of the SEC, the Big Ten, and then just the winners of each conference? It's something that is going to largely change the dynamic of the sport as we know it.
Anderson's going to pinch run here, by the way. And not to answer your question with a question here, but also, too, once these conferences get bigger, somebody has to lose the games. You can't have 10 Oklahomas in a league, right? You might have 10 elite teams as they'll throw down to first. It's not in time. Even if you have 10 elite teams, you may have teams that are sub 500, but they're top 15 quality. How do you measure that when you have a league that's as stacked as some of these are going to be? That's going to be kind of the challenge for the committee, right?
I think they just need to pay the committee more.
Georgina Cord, big advocate of
Big
giving the committee
advocate
a
of
raise.
paying people more.
Runner takes off the throw. Gets away from Garcia Soto. She'll go for third. The throw down there, not in time either.
And
Moving
Anderson,
and grooving along the base pass. She's on the doorstep.
And Anderson is going to flash the speed there. I think she's going to beat the steal at second base and is going to take third. Umpires seem to be discussing something. Take a look at that again. Maybe a leaving early situation, unfortunately.
Well, Anderson got into second, and then on the tag it got away, so she took off.
So I believe the argument might actually been that Sokolowski got in the way of the throw down to second base. If we take a look again at Sokolowski at the plate, she was out of the box. And so she has domain over that box, but as Emma Humplick comes up and make contact with her outside of the box, it will be the runner is deemed out on the dead ball interference from the batter at the plate.
Get it? Got it? Good. There's 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, an unfortunate turn of events for Oklahoma State. That's an unusual rule. It's not called very often, but it does happen more than you would think.
Sokolowski takes a strike. Emma Humplick thought it was strike 3. She was halfway to the dugout. You can sell an umpire. I don't think you can sell him that well.
You've got to try, though, sometimes. What's the harm?
It's worth a try for Emma Humplick. It will officially be ruled that it was because the runner left early. So because the runner took off early, she is eliminated off the base paths, and it's the second out of the inning. How about a 2-2? And that is torqued foul. And Kenny Gajewski showing off his
he's gonna
agility.
take a step down into the dugout. I think he got megged badly enough that he's going to take a breather. Just going to have a look, actually. I think he's going to join the girls on the bench.
He's like, you know what? I'm a lot more comfortable over here. We don't have anybody coming around third right now. Sokolowski sends one, flaring into left field, but Snyder's got it, and that'll retire the side. Cowgirls send 3. They get no more. They're still up by 5 runs. South Florida looking for some offense when we come back to the Sunshine State. On the unassisted out, it'll turn it back over to Elliott. That's a good sign for South Florida, right? Getting those innings out of Lexi Kopko. Because they're going to need that depth as the season rolls along. We were talking about that earlier with postseason teams, that you need options on your staff to come in relief, because gone are the days, again, where you can just ride one ace.
Yeah, that's something that Coach Erickson does a lot, is he'll rely on a staff approach where he will do matchups. We've seen Peyton Dixon with Sarja, as Elliott is going to get not hit by pitch. She's going to bring out some matrix moves, it looks like.
No, she got hit by that. No?
No, it looks like
Ken Erickson's, I mean, that looked plain as day to us like she got hit. Unless we missed something.
Yeah, unfortunately, Toderick Davies does have the final say on these things. He's the closest to the play. He will convene with Jose Travis and Cameron Ellison on this. Let's take a look at that.
Are they saying, no, it didn't hit her?
Yeah, she did. It looked like she jumped out of the way. Is going to do a little bit of a selling point there to the umpire.
She sold me. It looked like it hit her from our vantage point.
I just think you might be a little gullible. As a pitcher, I don't think anybody's ever hit by pitch. I think you need to stay in there and earn your hits off of me.
If anyone asks you, nobody's ever been hit in the history of time.
And if you have a bruise, no. And if you have a bruise, no, you don't.
Have they considered not leaning into it? Have they considered not being in the batter's box?
Have you considered getting out of the box? Is my thing.
Elliott rolls one through the left side for a base hit. So a one-out single for the UCF transfer. And then South Florida's second hit of the game.
And Elliott's fired up after that, wanted the base regardless, and instead is going to stay in and drive one through the 5-6 hole for what is only the second hit in this entire game.
5 is not insurmountable, but the Bulls got to find a way to get the offense moving. They got it going in the 6th against Washington. And that was also third time through the order, which is where they're at here.
Yeah, we've talked about this game being so much of a game of momentum. It's whoever is leaning and they can get their ball rolling will be able to maintain that momentum. And we've seen a big stopping point for this Oklahoma State Cowgirls momentum. And is it the USF Bulls time?
First things first, they got to get more than a single. It was an explosive second and third for the Cowgirls. 3 doubles in the second, 2 homers in the third. Since it's been pretty quiet. And Garcia Soto chases for strike 3, so Aycock's back on track. There's 2 outs. 4 strikeouts for Aycock. How do you evaluate her performance?
I think she is coming into herself. It's something that as a sophomore, you are still learning. She spent a lot of time not getting innings because she was working behind, obviously, the incredible Lexi Kilfoyle and Kelly Maxwell. She's somebody that just needs this experience, and this is a huge moment for her. Coach Eberle said that a big thing for her is she's just going to have to learn how to smooth out her mechanics. If she's jerky, she's someone that's going to be a little inconsistent with that. If she can smooth that out, they think she's going to be a phenomenal bad contact pitcher.
Another corner strike on Tribal Pace.
I think more than that, she's just competitive. She goes out there and she gets her work done.
The 0-2. Wanders outside. Elliott takes off. The throw is well.
New momentum moving as Tia Warsop, the freshman, enters, who actually plays for the Great Britain national team, a fellow teammate of mine.
Out of Northampton. A familiar face for some of us in the booth.
It's actually pronounced Northampton. Sorry, love.
Oh, my mistake. I'll have to work on my British pronunciation. As Warsop faces 0-1. So across the pond and into the batter's box for the freshman. Number 14 recruit, according to Extra Innings, was 43rd overall in her class. This is tapped off foul. So she was born in England, moved to the U.S. at age of 4. Her parents, Mark and Alexandra, were accomplished field hockey players. So athleticism runs in the family. Different sport, though. The 1-2. And Warsop chases for strike 3. How about Lexi Kopko? She's got 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, I think entering this game, it was a big question mark of what is Kopko going to do in a game like this, and the answer has been compete. She's throwing that changeup really well, not only across the plate, but you're going to see it die very quickly. It's something that Oklahoma State is really struggling to adjust to, and so Lexi Kopko has just come in and started to really shut down one of the hottest offenses in the country.
This game was looking like it would get out of hand fast. South Florida has stretched it to full length. 5-0 advantage for the Cowgirls. This is Lexi McDonald coming into pinch hit. As Kenny Gajewski unloading the bench here. Lexi McDonald by way of Silo, Oklahoma. Saw just 15 games last year. Looking for her second hit of the season. This is her 8th at-bat. She's had 2 starts, was against CSUN and UC Riverside. It's blown away for ball 1. Pitch, waves through it.
Yeah, that changeup sitting at 52 miles per hour is just devastating. Usually Kopko's hard stuff sitting somewhere in the mid to low 60s, usually around 61, 62. But it's that changeup that is just being so devastating because the spin matches her hard stuff.
As McDonald takes ball 2. Look ahead to this weekend. You have the Mary Nutter, of course, coming up. UCLA and Nebraska are going to get together. You got some good matchups coming up. Louisiana and Texas, also in the Lone Star State Invitational, will collide. It's good softball this time of year. You look nationally, Northwestern and UCLA are going to play. This is all on Friday. Of course, a loaded weekend of softball ahead. All over.
Yeah,
Virginia
talk
Tech
about
and
the
Georgia.
Mary Netter Collegiate Classic, one that's very, very famous for just phenomenal matchups early in the season. Had a little bit of storming last year, but expecting some better weather this season.
Up the first base line, and Tribal Peace with 3 unassisted. Lexi Kopko came into this game down 5-0. She has retired all but one that have stepped up. That was Rosie Davis on a 3-2 walk in the 6th. As Lexi Kilfoyle's going to get an at-bat here for Oklahoma State. She is from nearby this area. Grew up in Land O'Lakes, Florida. And so how about a pitcher getting an opportunity here?
You know me. I'm a huge proponent of this.
Could say you're a fan of pitchers who rake.
You could say that.
For Kilfoyle, this is officially her 6th at-bat of the season. Has 1 hit, was against Utah State. In her career at Oklahoma State, .222 average. 8 career hits, 1 career home run. 2-2. Just outside, Kopko tried to sell it.
Yeah, Kopko's working this backdoor curveball off of her changeup really well. Look at this as it dances back on. I think just started off and stayed off a little bit too much.
Kilfoyle gets underneath this one, deep to left field. It is gone! The 2nd career home run for Lexi Kilfoyle.
And talk about pitchers getting it done. Lexi Kilfoyle, the ace for Oklahoma State, is instead going to step to the plate and change the whole momentum of this game. 3 scoreless innings for Oklahoma State, broken wide open by an absolute moonshot by number 8, Lexi Kilfoyle.
What did we just say?
Pitchers can rake.
How about it? Is there anything Lexi Kilfoyle can't do? We have yet to find it. And Katie Lott, will step up to the plate. 4th straight pinch hitter for Kenny Gajewski. Lott takes a strike here. Goes opposite way. That's now not just the 2nd career Cowgirl home run, it's 4th overall if you include her time at Alabama. As Katie Lott now facing 2-2. But still, for Lexi Kilfoyle, how about it? As this one is thumped into left, and we will see you in the home 7th. Lexi Kilfoyle goes yard, and Oklahoma State has a 6-0 lead.
And it's
It's been an A-plus night for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think they are able to leave a long week in Florida feeling pretty confident. Even the 2 losses to LSU and Georgia were very, very close games, things that were, again, kind of won by the long ball. Lexi Kilfoyle throwing in the rain against Louisiana State University, something that I think Kenny Gajewski is willing to kind of shake it off, come here to Florida, get a resounding win, and go home feeling okay. And it will be Alyssa Reyno entering as the pinch hitter.
Yeah, has been pretty good in her career as a pinch hitter at USF. Last year was 4 of 11 pinch hitting. That was the best of any Bull on the team. She had a game last year against Penn in the doubleheader. Across 2 games, went 0 for 7 with 3 strikeouts. Started both. Still gathered 3 RBIs. This is gathered left side of the infield, 5-3 for the first out of the inning. That brings in Alex Wilkes. So for South Florida, back to the drawing board. They've still got plenty in front of them this weekend, assuming that this score holds here in the final 2 outs of the 7th. They will have Loyola Chicago tomorrow at 7, Pitt on Saturday at 2 o'clock, and they finish out the weekend with Yale. Alex Wilkes has pulled a couple of these foul balls really strong.
I think she's one that is just hairs away from putting her first USF ball over the fence. She's somebody that swings with absolutely full power. It fully commits to the pitches that she does like.
Ball and a strike on Wilkes. Here it comes. And that's ball 2. Two-one to Wilkes. And it's quickly 2-2. Pulled the string there to level it.
And that's a pitch Aycock has really been keeping in her back pocket. We haven't seen a lot of off speed. She's been willing and able to overpower with speed and spin. But that's something that Coach Carrie Eberle said will be paramount if she continues out through the rest of the season.
Counts full, 3-2. Payoff pitch. Yeah, Wilkes comes back forward. This has been a good battle by the freshman.
Yeah, I think the future is really bright for the young second baseman. She's made a lot of strong defensive plays over on the right side, and then her bat has come alive when they've needed it to.
That's off home plate. So Oklahoma State, with these home runs tonight, first in the Big 12, also tied first in the nation in home runs. The Cowgirls have been teeing off. And it was their pitcher, Lexi Kilfoyle, with the exclamation point on that.
I think this is a team that, seeing Oklahoma and Texas as the final 2 in the Women's College World Series last year, Coach Gajewski is building a team that he thinks can really challenge that supremacy. He wants to create a team that not only is pitching sound with the arm of Lexi Kilfoyle, but also batting sound with the bat of Lexi Kilfoyle.
Wilkes works a walk with 1 out in the inning. And her sister, Jocelyn, will follow her to the plate. We've already seen them defensively once this season for USF on the infield, playing second and first. As Ken Erickson will officially input the switch. Sam Walls is going to pinch run for Alex Wilkes at first.
Your attention. Coming in, pinch running for base number goal, number 1, Sam Wall. Now pinch hitting.
Laycock's first toss to her. High chopper, shallow in the infield. This will be close, in time. Moves Walls to second, but Oklahoma State won out from a win. That was a tough play for the second baseman.
Yeah, that ball actually bounced off of home plate, off of the barrel of Wilkes, and the height that it got on that actually allowed Wilkes to get almost all the way up the line. Davis having to come up firing on a bit of a sidearm play, so good ability to have an internal clock and know what your pace of play is on a ball like that.
And this is Denia Brooks. And that is sent in for strike one. Oklahoma State, 6 runs, 6 hits. All of those for extra bases. 3 home runs, 3 doubles. I think that's pretty good. As Brooks bounces it back up the middle, and it is dropped by Davis. Walls around third will come in to score. So no shutout tonight for Aycock and the Cowgirls. Walls wheels around third and comes in to score off of the drop ball by the second baseman, Rosie Davis.
And what a way to break up the shutout. I don't think there was ever a doubt in Walls' mind that she was going to put on the brakes. 2 outs, you're going on impact, and seeing Davis fumble that ball a little bit at second base. Denia Brooks, again, just getting on top of this ball, powering over the jumping Aycock, and just Davis not quite able to come up with it, and then not quite able to come up with this clean throw home to stop the scoring Walls.
So that'll be ruled an error on Davis. I'm sure something that's going to add a little bit of time to film review. Actually, is ruled as a single for Denia Brooks, but the fielding error brings in an unearned run. Slow roll into the circle. Nice pick by Aycock. And 1-3 will end the ball game. Oklahoma State unloads 13 runs across 2 games. They take this one 6-1 over South Florida.
And it's the long ball off of the bat of the Cowgirls. You said 3 home runs, 3 doubles, absolutely strong